Hello students, myself Abhijeet Mankar. Today we are going to learn Introduction to JavaScript. So JavaScript was developed by Brendan Eich and it was started early in 1996 and it was first supported by Netscape Navigator. Now difference between Java and JavaScript. Java is an object-oriented programming language whereas JavaScript is object-oriented scripting language. So scripting language is a subset of programming language. Then we can create applications that run in virtual machine under Java, whereas in JavaScript we have to run our code in browser only. So this is the differentiating points between Java and JavaScript. Now the features of JavaScript are, it is a cross-platform, object-oriented scripting language which is used in web pages to perform tasks such as, for example, validation of data and processing of numbers and modification of form contents. Now it is the only scripting language which is supported by all modern web browsers and it can be embedded directly in HTML pages or it could be used from a separate file. So we can run separate .js files in that case. When it is included in HTML web page, the script is interpreted and executed by the web browser along with the HTML code. And more importantly, the JavaScript is a case sensitive scripting language, which means that if you declare a variable in uppercase, for example, in this case NUM, which will never match with lowercase NUM. So we have to be careful while declaring the variables in JavaScript. Now applications of JavaScript. So it is a universal programming tool for HTML designers and where we can put our dynamic text into HTML page. For example, here one statement is written. So document.write is a JavaScript statement and in that we have embedded the HTML tag h1 in this case. So we can embed HTML tags as well in JavaScript. And more importantly, it can react to events. So there are different types of events, keyboard events or mouse events. So we can capture those events in JavaScript. So it can react to events. JavaScript can read and write HTML elements and it can be used to validate data, which is more importantly done while we are coding with PHP. So we can do most of the validation tasks at JavaScript. Now the basic building blocks of any language or any scripting language. So we start with the variables. So variable, its name always begin with a letter. So these are common rules which have been specified here. It should begin with a letter. So it will never begin with a number and it is without any blank space or special symbol. Suppose you want to separate, there are two words in a variable, you can separate these two words with the help of underscore. And it is up to 255 characters long and it cannot be a reserved word or the word which is defined in that language. So we have to avoid the reserved words while defining the variables and more importantly it is a case sensitive. So these are the valid variables which have been declared here. Now here as you see, variable here is declared explicitly because there is a var keyword which appears before it and in the second case we assign value 11 to it. So we are assigning value 11 but in the third example as you see NUM is equal to 11. So here we declare implicitly and we assign value 11. So these two type of declarations are common in JavaScript, that is explicit and implicit. Now there are different data types in JavaScript. The first one is a number. So numbers can be represented by using whole numbers like integers or if there are any decimal points, so we call such numbers as floating point numbers and there is a NaN which is called as a not a number. So it is the value returned by JavaScript when the program tries to treat something which is not a number. So in our program we may encounter not a number if the value that we accept or value that is entered by the user doesn't qualify to number data type. Second data type is a string and there are sequence of valid characters within a given character set and there are some escape sequences which has been mentioned here like \b, \t, \n. So these escape sequences are useful when we write the program. Then the next important data type is a Boolean. Boolean means true or false. So there are only two possible values for this data type. Moving to the next data type is important array, which is of type collection. Now array is a collection of different values. So in JavaScript, we can define array by using two different ways. So first way is shown here by using square bracket notation, or in an object oriented manner you can define array in this way. So here you see both the array represent the same set of values, but their declaration is of different type. Then next data type in collection is object. So in JavaScript we can create objects also. So here person is one object which is created here, roll number is its property, 1 is the value, name is the property, ABC is the value, age is the property, 25 is the value. Now there are some other concepts which are there in any programming language. So one such is literal. Literal means the value that directly appears in your program. So we may have integer literals, okay, and in integer there are different types of integer like decimal, octal, hexadecimal. Decimal number is a plain number, whereas octal number starts with leading 0 and hexadecimal number starts with 0x or small 0x or capital 0x. So then there are floating point literals which will have decimal points, Boolean literals which will have true, false, and string literals. And in any language there are the next part is operators. So we have different operators in JavaScript. Unary operators means the operators which operate on single operand, whereas binary operators which operates on two operands. So there is a list of operators as you see: pre-increment, post-increment, pre-decrement, and post-decrement. Most of the time we come across the binary operators. Then there are some operators which are called as a composite assignment operators. So these are the short form of operators which can be used in our program. For example, suppose if I declare a variable a plus equal to 2. So a plus equal to 2 is equivalent with a is equal to a plus 2. Similarly, we can use these composite assignment operators for other operations like subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus. After the composite assignment operators, we have comparison operators which returns a Boolean value. These are the list of comparison operators which we can use to join more than one expression in our program, and it will return true value, true or false value. For example, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. Then there are logical operators where we connect more than one expressions in our program and they will return true or false based on the expression. And the next part in JavaScript is comments. So why comments are important? Comments are important in any programming language for different purposes, and there are three styles of comments which we can give in JavaScript. First one is a double slash, which is equivalent with C++. Second is a multi-line, so which is equivalent with C language, and third one is a angular bracket exclamation 2 dash. So this is equivalent with HTML. So all these three type of comments you can use in your JavaScript code. So you can hide your code also by using comment, or you can prepare a documentation of your code with the help of comment. That is very much important when you are writing the programs. Now the next thing is that where we can include JavaScript code in our programs. So there are three different, you can say that, sections or three different places where you can you include JavaScript code. First one is a head section. Now head section, if you include JavaScript in the head section, it is related with some events. So like for example, if there is a button and if you click on that button, then on click event is captured, and on click event will respond to will call some JavaScript function, and that will be embedded in the head section. So whenever you have events, you have to write the JavaScript code in the head section. Then second place is that body section. So in the body section you can include JavaScript code. If there are no events, you can directly write that in the body section. And third is external JavaScript, means create your JavaScript and store that in a .js file, and you can link that .js file in your HTML program. Now the next part is user defined functions. In JavaScript we have to create the functions. So the syntax is mentioned in this particular slide. It starts with the function keyword, then the name of the function, then the arguments that you pass to that function, and there are number of statements. So this is a prototype or syntax of creating a function in JavaScript. Now these are the more importantly, these are the built-in functions in JavaScript. So let us begin with eval. Eval means evaluate. You can pass an expression to eval function, or you can pass a sequence of statements, and those sequence of statements will get evaluated in JavaScript. The second function, built-in function, is a parseInt. So parseInt returns the first number. ParseInt returns the first number in the string. So parsefloat is also a function. Then confirm prompt. So these are the standard library functions, as you can see. Then there are some statements in JavaScript. For example, if statement, so which is a conditional statement, and if this condition is true, these statements will be executed, otherwise this set of statements will be executed. Then there is a switch statement, where we have a number of conditions. If there is if then else ladder, we can convert that into switch case statement. And finally we have iteration statement, or where we have to loop through some statements, where if this condition is true, these many statements will get executed, and when this condition evaluates to false, it will come out of the loop. So this is a while loop, this is a do while loop. So the difference between these two loops is that do while loop execute at least once, because the condition is checked at the end of the loop. And finally there is a for loop and break and continue. For loop has three parts: initialization, condition, increment or decrement. So here we initialize the variable, and here we check the condition, and at the third section is related with the increment or decrement. And break and continue statements are used to transfer the controls. So if you use break statement, the break statement will come out of the loop. So if there are three loops, so if you define a break statement in the inner loop, so it will come out of the inner loop, but it will be the control will be there in the outer loop, and continues to jump to the next iteration of the loops. So this is all about introduction to JavaScript.